The billionaire thought hidden cameras would keep his children safe. But one night, he watched the footage and froze. His maid was standing in the nursery, whispering something to his twins that made their faces go pale. Seconds later, he grabbed his phone and called the police, because what he saw next changed everything. It started with a feeling, not fear, but unease. For weeks, billionaire Richard Langford couldn't shake the thought that something was off inside his home. His twins, Emma and Noah, had started waking up crying at the same time every night. The maid said it was nightmares. His wife said it was just a phase. But Richard didn't believe in coincidences. So, without telling anyone, he did something no one expected from a man like him. He installed cameras in every corner of the house. Not for security, for truth. At first, everything looked normal. The house was calm. The twins played. The maid, Clara, did her job quietly. But 3 nights later, at 2:43 a.m., Richard's phone buzzed with a motion alert. He opened the feed half asleep, and his heart started pounding. The nursery lights were off, except for the soft glow of a night lamp. Clara was there, standing beside the twins' beds. Her back faced the camera. She wasn't cleaning. She was whispering. The twins sat upright, listening, their little faces pale, eyes wide open. Richard leaned closer to the screen. Clara raised her hand and pointed toward the camera, straight at it, as if she knew. The feed went black. The next morning, Clara acted normal. She greeted him with a smile, poured his coffee, even played with the kids. Richard didn't mention what he saw. He just watched her quietly. That night, he checked the camera again. Nothing. The night after that, nothing. But on the 4th night, the same alert came. This time, Clara entered the nursery holding something, a small wooden box. She placed it near the twins' bed and began to hum a lullaby Richard had never heard before. The twins looked terrified, clutching each other under the blanket. Richard's hand trembled as he zoomed in. The box was shaking, lightly, like something inside it was moving. Then Clara whispered, "Don't tell him what you saw, or he'll disappear too." That's when Richard stood up, grabbed his phone, and called the police. The officers arrived quietly. They searched the house, room by room. Clara stood by the doorway, calm, confused, asking, "What's going on, sir?" Richard didn't answer. He led the officers to the nursery and pointed to the camera feed. "Check last night's recording." But when the officer played it, there was nothing. The file was gone. No sound. No image. Just static. Richard's face went pale. "I saw her. She was in here," he shouted. The officer exchanged looks with his partner. "Sir, there's no footage. Maybe a system glitch." But Richard refused to believe it. "Check her room," he ordered. When they opened Clara's drawer, they found the small wooden box, the same one from the footage. Inside it were old family photos. But not just any photos. Photos of Richard's wife and kids, taken years before Clara had ever been hired. And one photo stopped him cold. It was a picture of his wife, holding 2 newborns, with Clara standing right behind her, smiling. But the twins weren't born yet when that photo was taken. Richard demanded answers. "What is this?" he yelled, his voice shaking. Clara's eyes filled with tears. "I told her I'd keep them safe," she whispered. "Who?" "Your wife," Clara said softly. "Before she died." Richard froze. "My wife died in a car crash. You weren't even working for us then." Clara nodded. "She came to me before the accident. She said if anything ever happened to her, I should find you and protect the twins from him." "From who?" Clara looked straight at him. "From you." The room went silent. Even the officers didn't move. Richard stepped back. "What are you talking about?" "She said you'd forget. That you'd lose yourself in your money and power. That one day you'd look at your children and not recognize who they are. You stopped seeing them as your family and started seeing them as your property." Her words hit him like a blade. "I've watched over them since the night she died," Clara continued, "because she knew you wouldn't." Richard's knees felt weak. For the first time, he noticed how distant he'd become. Always on calls, traveling, chasing deals. He hadn't tucked his kids in for months. He hadn't told them, "I love you," since their mother's funeral. He whispered, "Why did you point at the camera that night?" Clara smiled faintly. "Because I wanted you to see. You wouldn't believe words, only proof." The police didn't arrest her. There was no crime, just confusion and a strange, painful truth. The next morning, Richard sat in the nursery, watching his twins sleep. The box still lay on the nightstand. He opened it one last time. Inside, Beneath the photos was a folded note, his wife's handwriting. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. Promise me you'll never let the world take the father out of you. Promise me our children will always know your heart. Tears streamed down Richard's face. He looked up at the camera, then turned it off. That night, for the first time in years, he stayed home. He read to his kids. He laughed. He tucked them in. And when he turned off the lights, he whispered the same words Clara once did. I'll keep you safe. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't destroy you. It reminds you who you were before the world changed you. If this story touched you, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, some things are worth watching with your heart, not your camera.